Hi everyone, my name is Rob Schmidt, and in lieu of the school shooting this past Friday in Connecticut, I would like to share with you what it's like to walk onto an elementary school having spent 10 plus years as a full-time substitute teacher in the Los Angeles Unified School District. And for the record, there have been many times where I've covered for first grade teachers in opulent parts of town like say Pacific Palisades, Brentwood, Kentwood Elementary. And frankly, when you're coming to these schools, covering for these first grade classrooms in upscale parts of towns, you're in a good mood, you're thinking this is going to be a great day, you got a good group of kids. I mean, this idea of going bang, bang, bang doesn't even cross your mind, but when you're coming onto these schools, it's very easy to walk onto these elementary schools. I've done so many times with virtually no resistance whatsoever. I've often thought how easy it would be for somebody to come onto these schools and do some really nasty things, and unfortunately we've seen what can happen in Connecticut because there's virtually no security on these campuses whatsoever, and what little security there may be on occasions is in no position to stop an armed assailant like that. I would also like to mention that, when you're talking the beginning of a school day, things are fast and furious. They are. The parents are rushing to get their kids to the school on time. Everybody starts at the same time. It's fast and furious. Very easy for somebody to slip through and walk through and do whatever they want to. I started in May of '98 in the Los Angeles School District, and it wasn't until '06, '07 that the school district required that substitutes carry with them ID. Up until then, we had no ID other than our driver's license, quite frankly, and a job number after they changed the system. Even after these were issued in '06 and '07, very rarely were they even asked for, and usually when they were asked for, it was as a deposit for the room key the school was issuing you. So if you wanted your card back, you had to give them the room key, and other than that, there was really nothing that would have stopped me from impersonating somebody else with the ID, very similar to what happened. And once you get into the classroom, I'd like to share with you the mentality that a good substitute that cares about children will have, because this idea of shooting kids it's just crazy. When I would walk into these classrooms, I would start looking at the materials in the classroom, look for a lesson plan, look for a room schedule, a daily schedule that's usually posted somewhere on the chalkboard or somewhere posted in the classroom. You look for textbooks. You put your name on the board so the kids could see that readily. And when the bell rang, you would go out and greet the students. They were usually always lined up in a specific area. You'd introduce yourselves, and you'd walk them back to the classrooms. For first grade classrooms, usually they almost always start the day sitting on a little rug in front where you start going over the attendance, and then you start going over language arts and various things with the kids. One of the great aspects of working with first graders is there's rarely any serious kind of disciplinary issue. Usually the biggest issue you have is giving them a 5-minute timeout, which usually ends up as being a minute or two sitting down, and then you go on with the day. And that's some of the great things about it. So this idea of coming in and doing harm to these kids, I love kids. And most of the people I worked with also shared my enthusiasm for the children. So the idea of this psychopath going onto the school, we need to remember it's that easy to walk onto the schools and things can happen. On that note, to finish this up, usually I would say may God be with you or say something pleasant with a smile on my face. I'm going to end this video a little differently. I still think it's appropriate to ask people, to encourage people to share their thoughts in a YouTube message center, but I'm not here to advocate a certain position. I just want to let you know what it's really like to walk onto an elementary school. I'd really like to share my condolences to the people who lost a loved one and for the parents that lost a first grader. For what it's worth, I don't have any special words, but I can tell you this. Those kids are in heaven with God. God does not send children to hell. There is a hell, there is a heaven. Those kids are with God. I could give you biblical scripture to support that, but they're in a better place now. I know that doesn't really help with your pain and suffering, but your kids are in a better place now. And on that moment, I just want to end with a moment of silence and commemoration. So here's the moment of silence.